Steve, 5 games to go. It's Southport next at Bootham Crescent. What are you hoping to see from the players on Saturday?
Well, I think if you look at the spells in the Boston game, certainly spells in the second half against FC United, and a lot of the first half performance was excellent on Saturday. I just need to see a complete 90-minute performance of the lads just playing with a load of confidence. And it's not always easy to play with confidence, I know that, especially when the season hasn't gone how we'd want it to go for anybody, you know, for me so far, even though we've done, you know, better than we were doing. Certainly for the fans, certainly for the players that are here. But yeah, I just want to see them play with a load of confidence. Last few home games, try and leave this season on a high, and look towards next season. Try and keep some momentum. But there's a lot of good players. I've seen a lot of really good stuff this week. You know, Macaulay Longstaff's came back, and the work he's done since he's been back in the team's been brilliant. And I've saw a real buzz in Jake Wright's game again this week. Like the player I remember him, you know, seeing last season, and like the player I've seen lots of times in training. I just want, if Jake's involved this Saturday, with a really good chance he will be, I just want him to see him take that onto the pitch and play with a load of confidence. And as I say, you know, draws, we've lost 1 in 8 now games, but with the 3 draws we've just had, you know, we haven't moved anywhere near as much as we should have for only losing 1 game. But we need, you know, draws are no good at the moment. We need to probably win every game now, and even then it looks going to be against us. So just a game where we really try and play with as much confidence as possible.
You mentioned that statistic, 1 defeat in 8 games. We moved up the table with real purpose. Has that given you optimism for the challenge ahead next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously when we won the 4 games in a row, and then, you know, lost the game, the ideal world would have been to get back straight on a run again. But, you know, it's not as easy as that. We've probably proved as a club all season that we've not been able to do anything like that. But there's been fine lines in the 3 draws, you know. Very fine line in the Boston game where we missed 2 or 3 very good chances before they got their first goal, and at 3-0 it would have been totally different. Obviously the sending off killed the game a little bit. Even though we were behind against FC United, it was still a game where we knew energy and power second half would have been able to get us back in the game, and you know, potentially nearly won it with 10 men. And Saturday it was a disappointing goal against, but as I say, first half performance was up there with one of the best first half performances I've saw this season of any half. So it's been fine lines. I do see signs of us being able to do that, but the consistency just hasn't quite been there.
Is there a growing temptation now to experiment with your lineup as the games start to run out?
Yeah, I think experiment without putting the game at risk would be more what I'd have a look at. I've said before that looking at next season, I do think with the players even the players that we've got here, but with this league and the right players, I think, you know, 3 at the back, something I'd like to look at. It didn't quite work when I tried it last time, but we're in a different frame of mind now. We've worked very hard for sort of 2 or 3 months. Keep having a look at it. Had a look at it again this week, so that might be something I'll have a look at again, because I'm always keen to play systems where you can keep 2 strikers on the pitch, you know, two main strikers, and apart from 4-4-2, that's the best system to do that in. But as I say, we've got young Jasper in. Joe Tate played very well last week. Newts is really playing well. We've got options wide. You know, we've got both full back and sort of wide winger options. So that might be something to look at between now and the end of the season. But whether it's this weekend or not, I don't know yet.
Where are you at in terms of your planning for next season? Are you now getting players into training to look at with a view to deals next season? Well,
we've had a look at 2 or 3 players now in the last sort of couple of weeks who have been released early by clubs, and sometimes clubs do that to help the players out, so they can come to clubs like us and have a couple of days training just so people can have a look at them. I think I think the bigger clubs are willing to do that because they're trying to help the players find a club. So yeah, we've had 2 or 3, but apart from that, you know, I've got an extensive sort of list of players who, you know, given the chance next season would have a look at from other clubs, obviously. But also, you know, I've still got 5 games to have a look at everything and in depth about everything we've got here as well.
You mentioned Jasper Moon, who came in on work experience from Barnsley. Just explain the nature of the arrangement here and to what extent he'll be involved between now and the end of the season.
Well, you know, it was something that was a pretty simple. It was a pretty simple sort of arrangement, which turned out to almost cause a little bit of debate, which there's nothing, there's nothing to debate really. It was simply a case of we lost, Murph, who we won't see again this season, unfortunately. I've got a very good relationship with the people at Barnsley, who I've worked with before. I've been to watch their under 23s a few times, and just thought it might be a good chance to get one of their young centre halves in who they think highly of, to have a look at, and if we're looking to, and that's a position we're looking to strengthen next season. If it is, we'll have a little bit more knowledge about sort of Jasper in particular now. So that's all it was. They've been kind enough to do it for us without any sort of money changing hands. So it's a complete sort of no-brainer really. And this week I've had a chance to have a look at him a lot more. He only came in on Friday, so it was too early to involve him Saturday. But he'll certainly come into my thoughts for this Saturday after having a full week with him.
Jake Wright has also returned from his loan spell at Boston United this week. How did he do while he was there, and how's he looked in training? No Adriano Moke this weekend due to suspension. How does that affect your planning? Change of formation, perhaps?
Perhaps, but it just opens the door to give somebody else a go, and maybe somebody else in a different position. As I say, I was fortunate in my career that I was able to play in a lot of different positions, but I never knew I could play in them until I was tried there. So you never know in football. You might just stick somebody somewhere and they might just click. I remember Kevin Keegan turning Steve Howie from a centre forward into a centre half, and he immediately, literally within 2 or 3 games, you could tell that he was going to be a very, very good centre half, and he ended up playing for England centre half. So it can happen in football. So it might be a chance to have a look at some players that you've saw in training do something different, and you just never know.
And injury-wise, is the treatment room a relatively empty place at the moment?
It is, yeah. Apart from obviously the 2 sort of long-term injuries, which are disappointing, but obviously I don't think we'll see any of them this season. Hezzy and Pars. Apart from that, yeah, we've got a full squad to choose from.
Is David Murphy now back at Mansfield, or is he still training with us, having treatment with us?
No, he's gone back to Mansfield, and he's he's looking at what next for David Murphy. Really, he's in the best hands there, as in regards to he's amongst the people who have done the operation on him, who know his history. So they'll decide between them what the best step forward for he is, whether it be playing or whether it be not playing. But from my point of view, very disappointing, because the games that he came in and he was fully fit, he was a huge influence. He's helped Sean Newton a lot, and in regards that Sean Newton's came back to the form that I remember him, and maybe even beyond that, because he seems to be getting better with every game, and that seems to be a position that he's relishing as well. So we as a club have got a lot to thank David Murphy for, and we just wish him all the best whatever happens.
Finally, a word on Saturday's opponent, Southport. They're mid-table, a bit similar to us at the moment. What sort of a game are you expecting?
I think from what we saw of them and the reports we've had, they play a similar way to Guiseley. 4-1, 4-1, and they're in a situation the same as us now where they're just going for it. You know, they're trying to get as many wins on the board the same as we are. So I think, you know, what we did do better last week was, you know, we defended a lot of balls in the box very well, and it wasn't a ball in the box that done us in the end. It was, you know, it was just somebody simply knocking off with somebody's run. But we defended them a lot better last week after slipping back into probably bad habits against FC United. So as I say, if we can remain solid at the back, relatively hard to beat, it should be an open attacking game. And you know, I'd like to think looking at our players this week, you know, I certainly think we've got really good options going forward.